Alright, for the Photoshop assignment, you'll need to come into our Schoology site, into the Photoshop directions right here. First thing you'll do is the matching vocabulary quiz that you have to do in class. The career research you can do in class or at home. And then you'll want to go into this Getting Started Photoshop tutorial section. This section right here will link you to several videos from Adobe TV that will help you learn how to use the Photoshop interface that we have there at the school. When you complete those, come on back out to the Photoshop directions and go to Assignment 1, Practicing Photoshop right here. In that folder, you will see the instructions, a grading rubric, and a place for some tutorial videos. You'll want to go ahead and open up this grading rubric and print this to the printer in class because you'll need to turn it in with your projects to be graded. And so you can just hit the print icon right here. It's set up to print in our class, and it'll go straight to the printer. The first project you're going to do is this Practice Photoshop right here. In that project, you will see that you need to create a Photoshop folder in your W drive. That's the drive that has your student ID number, in the tech folder that we've already created for class. So go ahead and pause the video and do that right now. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do after you've created that Photoshop folder is we need to open a new project that is either 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5 inches and set the DPI to either 200 or 300 DPI. It shows you in the practice instructions how to open and create a new project. So if you go back out here and go into the Photoshop tutorial videos right here, you'll see opening a new project. You can click on that tutorial to watch exactly how to do that step if you're unfamiliar with Photoshop and don't know how to create your project. Okay, so let's go back up here, back to our grading rubric and look at it for a second. So the next thing it asks you to do after you've created your new project in Photoshop is to save 3 high-quality images to your folder. You'll need a head shot, a body shot, and a background. So go ahead, if you don't already have 3 images, go ahead and find some either on Google Images, or if you have some already that you'd like to use of your own, you can do that as well. These same directions are right here in the Photoshop practice instructions so that you can read them. You can also pause the video at any time and rewind it back if you're unclear on something to go back and watch it again. Okay, so when you find those 3 images on Google Images or your own images, you just want to make sure that they're high quality images. One of a head, one of a body, and the other one of some type of background. You'll need to open all 3 of those images in Adobe Photoshop, and you're going to drag them into one file, the new file that we just created. Okay, so let's open up Photoshop and look inside of there and see what this means, the very first 2 things that we're supposed to do. Okay, so that first part told us to open up a new image, so we go to File, New, and we're going to title this Practice Photoshop. And right here where it has the width and the height, we want to do that to be either the 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5. I'm just going to go ahead and do 11 inches wide by 8.5 inches high. And then right here where our resolution is at, that's where we want to set the DPI. So we either want to put 200 or 300 DPI here. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at 300. All the rest of the settings you can just leave the same and click OK. And that's going to open up your workspace here. So once you have your workspace open, you're going to want to bring in those pictures that you chose from Google Images. When you're searching for your images on Google Images, you want to always make sure that you go to the Search Tools feature right here and click on that and change the size to large, because then you're more likely going to get a higher quality image. So let's go ahead and do that and filter out some of our search results, and then we can look through these different headshots. And you can type up here, you know, whoever you want to look for, and either face or headshot, and it'll give you a close-up of just their head because that's what you want for this piece right here. So for this one, I'm just going to take, let's see, we'll just grab this top image right here. So when you click on the image, you need to click on View Image over here to get it to open up in a new page so that it shows the entire image. and then you can right click on it and say Save Image As, and save it to your W drive in that Photoshop folder that you created. Otherwise, it will not be there tomorrow when you come back into class. Okay, so once you have your 3 images opened up in Photoshop, you need to drag them over into your Practice Photoshop workspace. So to do that, you can click on one of the images. So we'll click on our background. If you just click it and drag it over the tab that says Practice Photoshop, you can bring it down and drop it on top of that. Same thing with your headshot. We're going to click it, drag it over on top of our Practice Photoshop piece, come down on top of our active spot and lay that down in there. And with our full body shot as well, we're going to do that till we have all 3 of our images here, and you can see they each made a new separate layer. Okay, so then you're going to want to go back over here to your instructions. So if we go back over here, we can see on our grading rubric that the next step that we need to do is to use a selection tool to isolate the head and the body right here. So selection tool to isolate the head and the body. And then in this blank space right here is where you're going to tell me which tool it was that you used. There are videos as well on different selection tools and how to use them. So if you come back out here and you go into the Photoshop tutorial videos, you will see under selection options all these different tools that you can use to isolate the head and the body. You can use just about any of these except for the magic wand tool to do this part. So you can watch one or all the videos to figure out which one you want to use and then go ahead and isolate your head and body. So go ahead and pause the video and do that now.